Hello. My name's Jamie, and this is kind of let me reintroduce myself and give you an update on where I've been, what's going on. You might hear some noise in the background. I have a fan going that's blowing air on me. I'm in Texas, so while it is only 81 degrees outside, it's very humid. So we've had storms in the area since Saturday, Sunday, something like that. So there is that. So let me reintroduce myself. Back in December, January, December, something like that, I posted a video of the start of my cancer journey. So it kind of explained how I was diagnosed with cancer. I was diagnosed back in 2021, or 2022, not 21. And it's an interesting story. It's about 45 minutes long. It's spread over a bunch of videos because it wouldn't let me post a long video. I don't know why. It wouldn't, whatever. We now have a camera. I was doing that via my phone, so that may have been the issue. So I am supposed to be done. I went through 12 rounds of chemo. Should have been done June 1st. I'm not. If you see any light changes, I have a TV in front of me, and there's a screensaver on, and it changes periodically. That's what that's from. So I should have been done in June. We thought I was done. Even the doctor thought I was done. Fast forward 3 weeks, get what's supposed to be my final PET scan. Well, not final, but my you're in remission PET scan. And I get told that there's a couple nodules in the middle of my chest, right in the sternum, that lit up. Now, the first thing everybody thought was I had an upper respiratory or sinus infection, which I did at the time. So we really thought that was the reason why everything lit up, and that still may be the reason why those lit up. However, 6 weeks later, we go through what we think is another you're in remission PET scan. I have another lymph node lit up here. Now these here are smaller. If you know anything about cancer, cancer doesn't shrink. So there's a good chance that these aren't cancerous, but there is still a chance that they are. I was diagnosed, I don't remember if I said this a second ago. If I did, I'm repeating it now. I was diagnosed with Hodgkin's lymphoma, nodular sclerosis. What that means is my neck looks thinner now. Still not quite as what it was before I was like summer of last year, but we're getting there. I ended up having basically nodules that popped out like that and then popped up. And they're still kind of popped up here. You can see that. That's not actually lymph nodes, that's scar tissue. Which will have to be broken up with massage. It's about the only way we can do that. Oh, I went blue. I'm watching dolphins now. So I ended up with that, and it ended up being, so this one lit up. They said, okay, we're going to biopsy this. They tried to get to the ones here, but because of where they're located, and they're located right next to my heart, that was a risky procedure. So we did one small one, the only one that they could get to without surgery. And they could only get 20% in. Now that 20% didn't have any cancer in it, but there was still 80% of the lymph node that could have had cancer in it. So they weren't willing to say I was in remission at that point. So when this one popped up, which is what we suspect is the original lymph node that had lymphoma in it, or Hodgkin's lymphoma, because this showed up last September on I got an ultrasound of my breasts, just because I have very dense breast tissue, and this was before they changed the guidelines for mammograms to be between 35 and 40, your first one. So at the time, I'm in my 30s, so at the time it was, okay, I just want to scan, make sure everything's okay. Because I was seeing a lot of people in their 30s, I mean, I was going to say mid to late, but really anywhere in their 30s, ending up with breast cancer. So I was like, just for my peace of mind, I just want, because my breast tissue is so dense, I just want a picture. So sure enough, they saw this one. And I keep pointing right here because it's literally right there. That's where they went in. And so they saw this, and at the time I had, again, a sinus infection, upper respiratory infection, and a tonsil infection. So I was very infected. And I was on high power antibiotics, all the kind of stuff. And so they ended up thinking that it was just flared for that reason, which that can easily happen. And nobody really thought anything about it. Fast forward a month, boop, all of this pops up. Nodular sclerosis is probably it is the rarest form of Hodgkin's. Also the one that's caught the earliest, because it pops up on your neck. And people are like, what is this? Which is pretty much what I did. I'm not going to go through the whole story. This is going to be a summary, because that whole story is bananas, and if you really want to know, go watch it. It's bananas. But long process, I get diagnosed in December. I start chemo 4 days before Christmas, and do it every other week for 12 rounds. So for 6 months. Then this pops up, they diagnose this, or they biopsy it, comes back, there is still Hodgkin's, but minimal. There is basically barely any cancer left in my system. We know that through multiple tests. They do a SED rate, and that's done with your blood work. And my SED rate is pretty much normal. So that means there's very, very little cancer in my system. Not enough to raise the SED rate. And to put that into reference, my SED rate when I was diagnosed was 50, like 50. Normal is between 0 and 20 for a female. I was at 50. I am now at a 5, which is well within normal range. That little 5 it could be anything. Allergies. It measures inflammation in your body. Could be allergies, could be anything. Like a normal everyday person who doesn't have cancer could have a higher SED rate than me. So it's well within normal. And the cells and the pathology that they found in the lymph node, well over half of them are not present anymore. There's only 2 left, and it's the 2 hardest to kill. So I'm on a new med that was developed specifically for this. I am called drug-resistant Hodgkin's lymphoma, which is the 2 markers that are the hardest to kill for Hodgkin's. These 2 drugs treat it. So basically I have 2 rounds of chemo. I've already done 1. And as you can see, I look very different from the last video to this video. I lost my hair, majority of it, not all of it, but majority of it. As you can see, a lot of it has come back. It's very soft. It's like baby soft hair. I still have some in the back that's thinner, but definitely growing in. These 2 rounds of chemo are not going to cause me to lose my hair again. There is question about another round of chemo. So I'll have more clarification on this next week, but the way we understand is that after these 2 rounds of chemo, I'm going to have another PET scan, which they are all fully expecting to come back clear. When it comes back clear, they will harvest stem cells out of my body. I have no idea how they're going to do that. I will find that out next week. They're going to harvest stem cells out of my body, admit me into the hospital for 1 week, give me a high dose chemotherapy at least once a day, if not twice, to kill everything that's left in my system. And so not only will it kill the good, or the bad, it's also going to kill anything good in my system. There is a chance that I will lose my hair due to that. Not overly happy, but what's in those other videos is actually a wig. So that looks exactly like what my hair looked like before I was diagnosed. And it's made out of human hair. So it's a human hair wig. Luckily, when I'm going through all of this, this will be winter. Even winter here in Texas. So I will be cold. And that basically acts like a beanie on my head. So I will just be wearing that wig if that ends up happening. Kind of frustrating because I finally grew all of this back, but I mean, it's not at all, I mean, I would like it to at least be this long, but not anywhere close to being as long as I want it, but it's on its way coming back in. If I lose the hair on my head, apparently I'm going to lose my eyebrows and my eyelashes along with it anywhere else. I don't care about that anywhere else. I do care about my eyebrows because I'm going to look like a fool. So I am ordering, my computer's right here. I'm ordering Mad Love brows. So if anybody has ever tried those, please let me know. Which is a stencil and a little push potty thing that's got color in it to stencil some eyebrows on until the hairs come back. I can deal with losing my eyelashes or glue on fake eyelashes. I'm fine. That's fine. Eyebrows are a little like, huh? We'll look like a fool. But, you know, we'll do what we have to. So so they give me the high round chemo. And if this is bouncy and all over the place, I apologize. I have chemo brain. I had it prior to. Have it again because of being on chemo again. And it never fully resolved from the previous rounds of chemo. It can take 3 to 6 months to resolve. I had just hit the 3-month mark on September 1st. So it was working on resolving itself, but it hadn't. And so now we're back into full-blown chemo brain. And to help anybody with that, if you've ever been pregnant, I haven't, but I've heard, if you've ever been pregnant, it's like pregnancy brain on steroids. Like major steroids. So, yeah. So I had that, so I have that. So if this is a real bouncy all over the place video, that's why. So I go into the hospital, it's going to wipe everything out, which means I go into quarantine in the hospital. And right after I finish my last chemo treatment, 12 to 24 hours after I finish it, they will start a stem cell transplant. Because when it wipes everything out, it wipes everything. I will have no immune system at all. Basically kind of think of me like a organ transplant. Like where they have to wipe your body so that the body doesn't attack the new organ. It's basically kind of what they're going to do. So I have to be in the hospital for, after that week of chemo, 2 to 3 weeks. So I could be in the hospital for a month. While my immunity, which is called the ANC level, goes back to at least low normal. If I understand this correctly. Like I said, I'm meeting with a stem cell doctor next week, so I'll have more understanding next week. But that is what we're looking at. This has been a crazy journey, but they are 95% sure that this is going to wipe everything. So I will no longer have drug-resistant Hodgkin's by the end of this. But even if I do, because of the Hodgkin's that I have, it's not in my bone marrow, and it's not in my organs. There's a very favorable outcome. It's about all I'm willing to say on that right now until I get some clarification. But which I'll have next week. A lot happens next week. So that's all I'm willing to say on that right now. In case I'm wrong. I don't think I am. 95% sure I'm right, but just in case. So that's what we're doing there with that. My house is still a disaster, but I think we're going to start doing kind of either weekly or daily vlogs kind of thing. So now that I have a camera, it's much easier, much easier to do than doing it on my phone. So doing that, hoping to be out of the hospital by Thanksgiving. I really don't want to spend Thanksgiving in the hospital, but if I do, I do. Seeing a chiropractor 3 times a week right now to try, because of all of the positions I've had to sleep in, to try and get comfortable from the chemo side effects. I can go into that more later. My back and my neck are thoroughly messed up. Like, they showed me the x-rays. It's not as bad as it probably is or could be for other people, but I have had a very straight, very in posture back. Really since the pandemic and starting to work from home, and then this took it to a whole new level. I've kind of lost a lot of that, so we're going to try and get it back. They're also going to work with me. It's a really cool place that I found, but they're going to work with me on muscle loss as well, because I've atrophied some muscles over the last 9 months because of being very sedentary. Chemo makes you very sedentary. You don't feel good, and you have no energy. And people are like, just tough it out. It's a whole different beast. It's literally, there were times walking to my sink wiped me out, and I'd have to go sit back on my couch and sleep. There were days that I slept more than I was awake. And there was no just toughing it out. So, kind of stinks. But luckily, when I'm going through this again and I'll be recovering again, we won't be in the dead of summer in Texas, which is nice, because we were 107 and 108 every day, pretty much, in August and most of July. So I was not going outside. I was not working out outside. I have lived in what I call my vampire den, because all of my blinds are pulled. My thermal curtains are pulled. In the summer, I live in a vampire den. Winter, I don't really do that. Fall, I don't really do that. Spring, I don't do that. But summer in Texas, I turn into a vampire. And I use a lot of artificial lighting instead of lighting from the windows. And then, sorry, my lip's a little dry. It's weird. And then, I'm drinking an Olipop. If you guys have this where you're from, they're really good. This one's strawberry vanilla. I love it. I also like the raspberry rose poppies. I can't do wine. I'm a wino. I love wine. Can't do wine right now. I mean, technically I'm allowed, but it doesn't sit well with your stomach. Take that for what it means. I know there's some sensitive people out there, so I'm not going to tell you what that does, but take that with what it means. So that kind of has a little bit of a rosé taste to it. not completely, but a little bit of a rosé taste to it. So, that's what I've been doing instead of wine. So, but hopefully, come Christmas, I will be recovered enough to be able to do mulled wine. I'm a mulled wine girl, and I couldn't do it last year, so I'm hoping I can do it this year. Love mulled wine in the winter. I'd be real upset if I can't. What else? Going to the chiropractor, I said that. They're going to work on, I didn't finish that. They're going to work on getting my muscles back into shape after I get out of the hospital. And when the doctor allows me to go see people again. They're going to allow me, or they're going to help me kind of rehab my muscles. My parents, who are both RNs, actually think that they'll start working on that in the hospital through physical therapy. So I may be seeing a physical therapist, maybe coming to my room a couple times a week to start working on that. So a side effect of chemo is I have what's called metabolic syndrome. So I have a lot of weight retention. We know I've lost weight during chemo. Nobody actually knows how much I weigh. And I mean that genuinely. Like, not that weight's a big deal, but we know I've lost weight. We don't know how much. We know what I should be at normal. And, well, at normal, what I mean by at normal is what I was after the first treatment, which the first treatments melt. And I mean that quite literally. I mean, that's how the doctor describes it. Melts the chemo. Liquefies it. Or not the chemo, the cancer. Liquefies it. And then I have to take, ironically, it's a gout medication, to get it out of my kidneys and out of my liver. And so I'm doing that. But they have me doing that, and so we know what I weighed after that first initial melting of all of the masses that I had. So we know what I weighed then, but then the metabolic syndrome kicked in next treatment or the treatment after that, and I gained that and then some back. And it's just, a lot of it's liquid. Like, if you look at my hands, they're huge. I mean, a lot of it is just fluid and liquid. So, it's kind of like my body trying to insulate itself from the cancer. So it's keeping padding around all of my organs. That's what it's trying to do. So, it was all starting to resolve. It takes anywhere from 6 months to a year to resolve after chemo. Or after I finish chemo. It takes 6 months to a year, and it just started, like, because your cholesterol goes high, your triglycerides go high, your liver enzymes go high. All of that had started tinkering down. And my liver enzymes had just gotten to normal. I don't know that they're going to be now. So, we'll see. What throws you into, and apparently it's not uncommon for women, what throws them into the metabolic syndrome is the steroid. With every chemo, they give you steroids. And so I've always reacted heavily to steroids. I was getting a double dose because I had a reaction to one of the chemo meds. And so I was getting double of what most people get. And I'm still getting double what most people get, except for the fact that I'm just doing it over 2 days. So I get normal dose on one day, normal dose on the second day, instead of all on one day. So we're hoping that limits some of the return of the metabolic syndrome, but we don't know. My parents say I'm losing it. They can see me losing weight. I see me every day, so I don't really see it, and I'm not seeing it as much on the scale. But according to the doctor, it'll just kind of all of a sudden start falling off. So we'll see where that goes. But the goal is cancer makes you take a turn in your brain. I told my mom, I haven't actually been doing therapy. Not that there's anything wrong with therapy. I just haven't felt the need to, but I've been doing therapy in my brain. Meaning there's a lot of stuff I just don't care about anymore. That seemed really big before you got diagnosed with cancer, and now you're just like, yeah, that doesn't really matter. I mean, there's some stuff with work, and it's just like, nope, doesn't matter. I'm sorry, I keep looking down because I am on my parents for their house. Something goes wrong, I'm the person they call. Their alarm system and stuff, and there are people going in and out of their house. This is their house right now. So my phone just keeps lighting up like crazy. And I keep looking to see what's lighting up. But anyway, my phone's on silent, which is why you don't hear it chiming, because it would be chiming like crazy right now if that was the case. They have some workmen at their house right now. So anyway, that was a tangent. We're going to go back to normal. Resume our normal programming. So we're going to do that, or I'm going to do that. And I've decided that, I guess as a lot of people did, see, I feel like during the pandemic, people went one of two ways. Either they used that time and they got in the best shape of their lives, or they became, I don't care, I'm in a pandemic, I'm in sweatpants every day, it doesn't matter. I was that person. And so I've decided it's time for Jamie to get back into shape. Did I just refer to myself in the third person? Yes. Yes, I did. So I've decided it's time for me to get back into really good. I've always been fairly athletic my whole life. I played sports growing up and that kind of stuff. Don't know that I'll ever be a runner. Never say never, but I find it boring. So I don't know that I'll ever be a runner. Where I live, there are fields with cows and stuff, so I like to go on walks and see the cows, say hi. My longhorns aren't here anymore, which upsets me greatly. But they are in a field nearish that way. If you just heard that, that was my neck popping. Nearish that away. So that's south. Yeah, nearish south. To where I could still walk and see them. I don't know that I have the stamina right now to be able to do that, because I think that would be a mile or two round trip. And I don't know that I have the stamina to be able to do that until maybe the spring. We'll see. But I've been talking to a couple of trainers and that kind of stuff, and they're all like, you just gotta ease. And I'm not one that eases well. So I'm the one that like dives head first in and full throttle, and I don't ease into any workout plan or really anything. I actually told my chiropractor when they've been easing me into the adjustments instead of just going full throttle real hard into the adjustments, and I'm like, you can do more if you want to. I mean, I'm fine with it. And they're like, you're that person, huh? And I'm like, no. And I am that person. 100% that person. So yeah, we'll see how that goes. But I'm gonna try my hardest not to be that person. So I have a gym at my place. Pretty good gym, actually. And then there's also a gym walking distance that way. So probably gonna do that. Might next summer get into like reformer Pilates. I need to get my muscles back into shape before I even try reformer Pilates. It's gonna be a very humbling experience. I already know that. But I need to get my muscles into shape. I have a lot of things I'm planning. I need to save for a new couch. This couch is no longer comfortable. I really want the 7th. Has anybody had the 7th Avenue couch? I really want that couch. Partially because every single cover on it is removable and washable, including the frame. And that appeals to me. It's dog, which I don't have a dog, but I would like one. It's dog resistant. It's stain resistant. Like they showed people pouring coffee and wine, which are two of my favorite drinks, on the couch and then just wiping it up. All of that appeals to me. So it's a spendy couch though, not as spendy as like a Restoration Hardware couch or anything. Much spendier than like a IKEA couch. So there's that. But I want one that has like a removable ottoman, so that it doesn't matter where I live, I can have a sectional, and it doesn't matter if it's left or right. I want a movable ottoman for that reason. And then what else? There's a lot. I'll figure more out later. Right now I just keep staring at my air fryer because I have hash browns in it, because I'm doing Brenner breakfast for dinner. So I'm about to go finish making that, and then I'm gonna watch the rest of the Meg too, because I'm a B movie person. I like B movies, and I love the Meg series with Jason Statham. Really, I love just about anything with Jason Statham, but I love the Meg series. It's a great series. I love it. So I'm doing that. Oh, I was gonna put this out on the internet. Book series. I need some, because as I said, I'm gonna be in the hospital for like a month. We're gonna see if I can bring my camera. We might do like Hospital Days series. A series called Hospital Days. Might not. They may not let me do it. So we may do Hospital Days via phone, which means they'll be very short. And not edited at all. I don't know how much this one will be edited, but it'll be edited a little bit. That one won't be at all. So I'm gonna try and do that. We're gonna bring our computer to work, or to the hospital, so I can still work. I do have a 9-to-5 job, Monday through Friday. Not 9 to 5, it's actually 8 to 4. But job, Monday through Friday, that I will never give up, because I have the best boss in the world, who has been amazing throughout this whole journey. Was willing to give me the full 6 months off for chemo, and was willing to give me 3 or 4 off for this. But for my mental health, we couldn't do that. I have to work. So I do that. I work on the business side of the medical field. We develop software for hospitals, and I'm not going to say what kind. And that's what we do. So I that's all I'm going to say. But it gives me a unique appreciation for the health insurance I have, because I know how much each one of my medications costs. And it's bananas. My first 12 rounds were $6,000 each time I had an infusion. This round, one day is $17,000, and the other day is, I don't know what the exact milligrams I get, so it could be anywhere between 2 and 4. So for a full week, so for the 2 days, because I get treatment on a Thursday and a Friday, so for those 2 days, it's about $19,000 to $20,000 per treatment, or per time. So just these 2 rounds of chemo would have cost me $40 grand if I hadn't had really good health insurance. Luckily, my health insurance pays everything, and I've reached my out-of-pocket maximum. So I pay nothing for the rest of the year. And I'll reach it real quick next year, at the beginning of the year. So, because I have to have a hysterectomy, which we can go into that maybe during the hospital days. We can do hospital days / get to know me. But yes, books. I need book book recommendations. I like thriller / mysteries. I don't like horror though. So if it's a horror book, no. But thriller / mysteries, I love like James Patterson's Women's Murder Club series. If you like murder and mayhem, murder mystery, great series. Great series. Trying to get into Tess Garrison, and not trying because they're not good books, just I've had so many other books. I love Rizzoli and Isles, the TV show. If you haven't watched that, that's a great TV show. I think it's on HBO Max. So it's on Max. I think it's called Max now. It's on that. And then, so I need to read those. And then I like sci-fi and fantasy. So basically, that was not a word. Basically, if it's not a murder mystery, I like sci-fi. I want to be taken to a different world where there's dragons and elves and fairies, but not like Tinkerbell fairies, like fairies as in human-like, but not quite human. More elvish, truthfully. So I have a series called The Fourth Wing, which is supposed to be amazing. It's all over the internet. I have not started that book yet. I'm saving it for the hospital. But I have a Kindle. So, books that can be done on a Kindle. Recommendations. I need them. I have Kindle Unlimited as well. So, those are good too. TV shows. I need TV shows to binge. My brother and sister-in-law recommended the one with Selena Gomez and Martin Short. Only Murderers or something like that. It's in like season 3 right now on Hulu. My brother recommended that one. Friends is always good, but I've seen every one of those a bajillion times. Not that I won't watch it again, because I will. Let's see. What other ones have I watched a bajillion? Rizzoli and Isles I've watched a bajillion times. Still love it. Angie Harmon's great. Her as a cop, especially a Boston cop, is just fantastic. I need to get into Yellowstone again. I think I've only finished seasons 1 and 2. I don't even know if I've finished all of that. Probably need to do that. So yeah, series, books, things to keep me entertained. Like I said, I'm taking my work computer. I have a wireless card so that I can stay secure while in the hospital. And it's a requirement for my job. Like I said, I deal with software for hospitals, so there's very sensitive information on there. So I have to have a protected Wi-Fi. And then, so I have a wireless card for that. So that means I can watch like any shows on Hulu, Disney Plus, all that kind of stuff. I am a nerd. So, I mean, it's Star Wars. I'm watching Ahsoka right now. Love it. I'm really sad that there's only 8 episodes. And then I think The Mandalorian's been delayed because of the strikes. So, I don't know what I'm going to do. But I do watch all of the Star Treks on CBS All Access as well. So I've saved one of those, Strange New Worlds. I've saved that for while I'm in the hospital. I've saved a lot of things for while I'm in the hospital. So, yeah. I think I've rambled enough, and Chemo Brain has taken me on a lot of tangents, so I should probably go. But I just wanted to give an update, and I kind of reintroduce myself, and if anybody has any questions, let me know. But like I said, I'm going to start posting more now that I have a camera, instead of just my phone. So, yeah. I hope everyone has a great afternoon, evening, morning, wherever you are. And I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.